Hey guys, Forceper Studios here, bringing you a box opening for Shadows over Innistrad. It's Atkst and Frosty today, though, because after last week's incredible plays, Chubby has decided to take the week off to contemplate his own lacking skill.
They are quite lacking.
Yeah, you could say that. We got Box, we got Mr. Boopster, and we got the pre-release promo. Or, sorry, the buy a box promo. Pretty fancy. Go ahead and get the plastic wrap off. We got Box. One stack, 2 stacks, 3 stacks.
Ha 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 ha.
Okay, Frosty. Which stack do you want?
All of them.
No, you can pick this one or this one.
I'll take the fat stack. It's the left
Pick
one.
a werewolf or an angel?
Angel.
Okay. Put that to the side for now. And we'll start with my openings of the packs.
What do we got? What do we got?
Go through the comments quick like. Our first uncommon is Moonlight Hunt. Second uncommon is Woodland Stream. Third uncommon is Murderer's Axe. And our rare is Devil's Playground. I really like this card. So it's 6 mana, and it makes 4 1/1s that when they die, they deal 1 damage to target creature or player. Pretty fancy.
Right on.
And our double-faced is Harvest Hands. It's an uncommon. And it's pretty cool, because it's a creature that turns into equipment.
Ah, neat.
Double-faced. Whoop. Go through the uncommons again. Everyone thinks this is the new Tarmogoyf, and I'm not sold on it. It's a common for a reason in all likelihood.
Honestly, I have no idea why I'm chuckling. I have no idea what any of these cards from this set are.
Essence Flux. It's uncommon. It's part of Chubby's favorite deck archetype, so we'll probably be using it at some point. Nearhearth Chaplain. And Pack Guardian. And our rare is From Under the Floorboards. It's 5 mana, and you can make 5 mana or Madness X black. And it either puts 3 2/2s and you gain 3 life if you paid the normal cost, or it puts X 2/2s and you gain X life if you paid the Madness cost. Pretty fancy. And our flip card is Kessig Forge Master. Another uncommon. And it flips into a Flameheart Werewolf. And we also got a rare flip card. Sage of Ancient Lore. Its power and toughness is each equal to the number of cards in your hand. And when he enters the battlefield, draw a card. And normal werewolf flip into the Werewolf of Ancient Hunger, which is Vigilance Trample.
Ooh.
And its power and toughness is equal to the number of cards in all players' hands. So it's like almost double power in a 1v1. It's very fancy. Whoop. Then we once again get this and a zombie. Commons. First uncommon is Olivia's Bloodsworn. Second is Stetsnia Masquerade. Third is a Nearhearth Chaplain again. And Diregraph Colossus. It's a 3 mana 2/2. And when he enters the battlefield, he gets a 1/1 counter for each zombie card in your graveyard. And whenever you cast a zombie spell, put a 2/2 zombie creature onto the battlefield tapped. Pretty cool card. Kind of like a zombie lord.
Yeah.
Flip card is Arsonists. Not very exciting. They're just big werewolves.
Not very exciting until the fires get going.
Yeah. You just need a lot of them. And watch the world burn. Burn!
Send the world on fire! I've been playing a lot of League lately.
Have you again? Are you ever going to record it for us?
Absolutely not. I don't think anyone really wants or needs to see any bronze plays.
No, that's like the best plays. First uncommon is Veteran Cathar. A Corpse Trawler. I'm not going to try and pronounce that first word. It's probably like Drunau Corpse Trawler.
Well,
Sure.
you attempted to say it, so.
As soon as after I... And Pale Rider of Trustad. He's kind of got a doopy horse. It's like a faceless man riding a horse. Pretty creepy. And a rare is Altered Ego.
Yes!
It's 2 colorless, a green and a blue, and an X. And he can't be countered. And you may have him enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it has an additional X +1/+1 counters. Fancy. So even if they have the biggest creature on the field, yours can be bigger. And our flip card is Village Messenger. Haste, 1/1. And, normal werewolf, 2/2 menace. That's super exciting.
I wouldn't say a normal werewolf, because really, what's a normal werewolf?
Sorry, the normal werewolf flip, where if you, at the beginning of each upkeep, if no spells were cast, transform him. And to transform him back, you have to cast 2 spells.
Ah. Also, I'm not really in bronze, but I do sometimes wish I was in bronze.
Yeah,
Seems
bronze,
more fun.
It does. Go through the commons.
That's what I did in bronze. Just went through the commons. Then got to the uncommons.
Moonlight Hunt is our first uncommon. Compelling Deterrence. This seems like a really cool card. 2 mana to return something, or return a non-land something, and then that player discards a card if you control a zombie. Griff's Boon. It's got a... I don't know what that is. It's a doopy horse swan, and it's amazing. And our first rare is a Flame Blade Angel. Whenever a source an opponent controls deals damage to you or a permanent you control, you may have it deal 1 damage to that source's controller. It's a red card, which is weird because it's like a defensive card. But, does what it does. And our flip is a Town Gossiper. It's just a 1-mana 1/1, and you have to tap something. So I guess he makes babies.
You gotta cry wolf. You gotta cry wolf.
And then he becomes this angry group of people. So he bursts a lot of things. And then he has to attack, and he has colorless fire breathing. Fancy.
Eventually, I made my ways through the uncommons and got to the rares in gold. Yes, I'm going to have a little quip at each little booster pack interval.
About League. Another Essence Flux. Excellent.
Ooh.
Fleeting Memories. A Mad Prophet. And To the Slaughter. It's a really dark looking card. So it's 2 colorless and a black. For an instant, target player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. And then Delirium, if there are 4 more card types among cards in your graveyard, that player sacrifices a creature and a planeswalker.
Oh.
Our flip is Lamholt Pacifist. It's a 2-mana 3/3 that can't attack unless you control a creature with power 4 or greater. Normal werewolf flip conditions into a 4/4. Fancy.
Very, very interesting. Mad Prophet reminds me of Malzahar for some reason.
Oh god, he started on League.
League is love, League is life.
Nah. Magic. Weirding Wood. It's our first uncommon. Wildfield Scarecrow. A Moorcut Necropod. And a Soul Swallower.
Ooh.
4 mana, green, trample, 3/3, worm. And Delirium, if there are 4 more card types among cards in your graveyard, put 3 +1/+1 counters on them at the beginning of your upkeep. Flip card is a Daring Sleuth. When you sacrifice a clue, transform him. And he becomes a 3/2 with prowess. And when he deals combat damage to a player, you get a clue. Investigate.
A blues clue.
That was probably a few blues clues. First uncommon is Not Forgotten. Second uncommon is a Stitchwing Scab. Third uncommon is Spiteful Motives. And a rare is Drowned Yard Temple. taps for colorless, and you can pay 3 mana to return it from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. And we got Daring Sleuth again. We already know what he does, so...
Hey, what was that first uncommon again?
Not Forgotten.
Oh. I was kind of hoping you forgot about it. Damn.
Angelic Purge. Probably one of the better cards for Pauper in this set.
I do like me some Pauper.
It's because it's cheap.
It's cheap. And it reminds me of Colonel Sanders' chicken for some reason.
I don't know how you got that connection, but go ahead. First uncommon is a Spectral Shepherd. Second is a Crawling Sensation. Third is a Foul Orchard. And a rare is Anguished Unmaking.
Ooh.
It's 1, a white, and a black. It's an instant. Exile target non-land permanent. You lose 3 life. Vindicate, this isn't quite, but it is an instant, so the 3 life is probably worth it. Our flip card is a Thraben Gargoyle. And my first mythic is probably the card I wanted most from the set. Arlinn Kord. It's a red, a green, and 2 colorless. Planeswalker. +1, untap up to 1 target creature, and it gets +2/+2, vigilance and haste. Or 0, put a 2/2 wolf creature onto the battlefield and transform Arlinn Kord. Becomes Arlinn Embraced by the Moon. New abilities are +1 to creatures you control, get +1/+1, gain trample. -1 is Arlinn Embraced by the Moon, deals 3 damage to target creature or player, and then transform her back. And the ultimate is -6. You get an emblem with creatures you control, have haste, and tap. This creature deals damage equal to its power to target creature or player. Meaning you no longer even have to attack into them. You can just tap out at end of turn.
That's pretty awesome. Pass it over into my oily, greasy hand so I can sleeve it. I know that just made so many people cringe. And I have no regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
With an A. Doo-doo.
Boring commons.
It's kind of always how it is. Our first uncommon is a Haunted Cloak. It's probably more boring than the other commons. Incorrigible Youths, which is really creepy art because it's like all these children vampire devouring a man. Humble the Brute. And Harness the Storm. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, you may cast target spell with the same name as that spell from your graveyard. You still have to pay the costs, though. So ultimate kill condition, this is not quite, but maybe. And our flip is Hair to Falconwrath, probably one of the coolest flip cards. So you discard a card to transform it. It's a 2/1, 2/2. And it's a Hair to the Night. Which becomes a 3/2 flyer. Something like a Black Delver, but probably not quite there. And we also got a foil Haunted Cloak, which after saying that this is kind of a disappointment, I have another one. We got a Stern Constable.
Yeah, we really do. We need to do something about that.
Sure. I was listing a card name, but whatever.
Oh.
Groundskeeper. It's our first uncommon.
You need to stop paying him. He doesn't do anything around here.
Reaper of Flight Moonsilver. Ulvenwald Mysteries. And our rare, Thalia's Lieutenant. When it enters the battlefield, you put a +1/+1 counter on each other human you control.
Ooh.
Whenever another human enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Thalia's Lieutenant. Meaning it's good as a 2-drop and it's good as a late game draw.
Yeah.
Something excellent. We got our Neglected Heirloom as our flip card. It's 1 mana. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. And then when the equipped creature transforms, the Neglected Heirloom transforms. In which it just triples its stats, basically. And it gets +3/+3 and has first strike in addition. It's fancy.
Very fancy. In fact, it's so fancy it's called Heirloom.
I've only got 1 mythic so
Heirloom.
far.
I'm sorry, did I cut you off?
Yes. I've only got 1 mythic so far, and I don't have many packs left. 6 packs. This is the 7th. So we got a horse. That's a good sign.
Good sign for you. Aren't you a horse? I think I'm a horse, actually. Zodiac sign-wise. I think. Yes, I am.
Obsessive Skinner is our first uncommon.
Cuckoo.
Ravenous Bloodseeker is our second. The Zombie Horse is our third.
You guys and your horses.
And a rare is Ever After. It's 4 and 2 black. It's a sorcery. And it returns up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Each of those cards is a black zombie in addition to their other colors and types. And you put Ever After on the bottom of your library.
I think I could make that work.
So basically, this says till death do us part. And they just get rid of that, and after death, you revive the, couple.
Oh, that's... Yeah.
We got some more Arsonists. We've already seen the flip side of that.
Well, we were saying we need more Arsonists, and now we got more Arsonists, so...
We need at least 5 to have a 5-alarm fire. We got a Cathar's Companion.
Blaze it up.
First uncommon is Behind the Scenes. It's got pretty creepy art. Graph Mole. Forsaken Sanctuary. And Forgotten Creation. It's our rare. It's 4 mana, Skulk, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you may discard all the cards in your hand. If you do, draw that many cards. Basically says, if you don't like your hand, you can just throw it away. Or if you're trying to reanimate something, throw it away.
That is actually wonderful.
A Convicted Killer is our flip card. It's 2/2 for 3 mana that flips in 2. A Branded Howler, which is a 4/4, and that's it. That's all I get. We also got a Foil Mountain, which, you can never go wrong with Foil Mountains.
Usually, in real life, Foil Mountains are probably going to be worth something.
Like a mountain, how would you foil an entire mountain?
I don't know, but that's probably why it'd be worth something.
That's true.
And if the mountain itself is not actually foiled, likely there's going to be some materials inside that you can harvest.
Is true. Or we could just deny the existence of mountains. They don't exist.
Or we could do that. But that would make our summer hiking trips a little boring.
Yeah, if there's no mountains anymore. Well, you just have to go down into valleys at that point.
Oh, true.
I really love this art. I don't know if it's a great card, but I love the art, so it's got that going for it. And our first uncommon is Desnia Masquerade. Reckless Scholar. Gibbering Fiend. And Relentless Dead.
Ooh.
Our second mythic. It's 2 black for a 2/2 with Menace. And when it dies, you may pay black. If you do, return it to its owner's hand. And when it dies, you may pay X. If you do, return another target zombie creature with converted mana cost X from your graveyard to the battlefield. These are separate triggers, so you can choose one, the other, or both. It's all fancy. Or none, I guess.
That's pretty cool.
And our flip card is a Timberland Logger. It's a 2/1 for 2 that flips into a 4/2 with Trample. That's what you get.
All right. Into my greasy, oily hands. Thank you, thank you.
Apparently you have all the mythics, so they're all going to be ruined. First uncommon is Gissa's Biting. Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Biting Rain. A Skeleton Key. And Triskaidekaphobia. So 4 mana enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose one. Each player with exactly 13 life loses the game, then each player gains 1 life. Or each player with exactly 13 life loses the game, then each player loses 1 life. So the goal is to get your opponent to 13.
Huh.
This has so many little things on it. Like there's 13 logs in the fire. There's 13 drips of the blood. There's 13 tools hanging up.
Oh, wow.
It's just like all 13s.
I'm sorry, can you read the name of the card again?
Triskaidekaphobia.
What is that? The fear of the number 13?
Yep. You
Okay.
nailed it on its head. It defines the fear of 13.
I just wanted to make sure here, because I've never actually heard that phobia before.
Convicted Killer. And
actually, I probably have, but...
Branded Howler.
Arr!
And most importantly, a foil anguished making.
I thought you were going to say a foil land again, foil mountain again for some reason.
So we've seen this already. It's the almost vindicate, but this one's foil, and that makes it like twice as good as a card. Into your greasy hands, yeah, I know.
Well,
we got a giant turtle.
Yay!
We got Lightning Axe as our first uncommon. Creeping Dread as the second. Stitchwing Scab is the third. And Nahiri the Harbinger.
Ho, ho, ho.
Another mythic. 2,
wow.
A red and a white. Its +2 is you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Its -2 is exile target enchantment, tapped artifact, or tapped creature. And its -8 is search your library for an artifact or creature card, put it onto the battlefield, and shuffle your library. Gains haste. Return it to the battle. Return it to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. Flip card is a Solitary Hunter. Flips into a 5/6. Fancy.
Well, pass it into my devaluing hands. I have the exact opposite of King Midas's touch. Except I'm not really sure what the opposite of gold would be, but in any case, I'm saying I have garbage hands. The garbage touch.
Garbage touch.
Good job on the mythics, by the way.
Yeah, apparently I did really well.
It's almost like I gave you that luck before the start of the video, like I said I would.
Pick the brain.
I already have.
Which has really, like, wow. They have a glass staring into his head and there's 3 people in it. That would, you know.
Yeah, it's hard to get a bit
glass.
of privacy, honestly.
Yeah, when you have 3 people sharing the same skull.
Pretty much.
Foul Orchard. And Cryptolith Rite. It's a 2-mana enchantment with creatures you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. I don't know exactly where this fits in. Some kind of like infinite tokens produces infinite mana, but why not just build the deck to produce infinite mana? So I don't know where this actually goes. Probably somewhere useful. Flip card is Heir to Falconwrath again. It's very good. Flips into a 3/2 flyer. And our last pack.
The last
It's almost all gone. Then we'll have to rely on Frosty.
For what? You've opened 3 mythics. That's
well, we
plenty.
need more.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of being greedy? Jeez. It's a Nightmare Horse.
I've heard of being greedy. That's usually how the enemy team gets first blood.
Gloom Widow. Mad Prophet. Humble the Brute. And Epiphany at the Drownyard. Blue and an X. It's an instant. Reveal the top X +1 cards of your library and separate them into 2 piles. An opponent chooses one of those piles, put that pile into your hand and the other pile into your graveyard.
Reminds me of like a show and tell.
Well, they go into your hand. It's trying to be fact or fiction, but I don't think it's quite fact or fiction.
Yeah, I can see it.
Breakneck Rider is our flip card. It's 3 mana. It's an uncommon. Werewolf flips into a neck breaker. Attacking creatures you control get +1/+0 and have trample. We have a rare flip card. Hand and Weir Militia Captain. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 4 or more creatures, transform him. It's a 2/2 for 2 mana, which is already pretty decent. Then it becomes Star, where its power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures you control. At the beginning of your end step, it makes a 1/1 white and black human cleric. So he slowly grows and gives you an army. Fancy. That's a pretty good pack for my finale.
Yes.
Now it's all up to you, Frosty. Don't screw it up.
All right. So
It's all on you.
You got it. First pack.
Feed our greed. Hey, don't get rid of Mr. Boopster.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I simply grabbed my pack. That's all I did.
Poor Mr. Boopster.
Indeed. Poor Mr. Boopster. All right. So, we got our commons. And for our first uncommon, we got Open the Armory, Tooth Collector, Sinister Concoction, and for our rare, we have Eerie Interlude. Exile any number of target creatures you control. Return those cards to the battlefield under the owner's control at the beginning of the next end step.
Also another card for Chubby's favorite deck archetype, so there we go.
And then for our flip card, we got Solitary Hunter. That turns into one of the pack. 5/6. And
you opened one of Chubby's favorite cards in your first pack, so you're doing good.
It's a start, I'll say that much.
You're good at taking Chubby's place.
Well, I mean, anyone's good at taking Chubby's place. You just can't fill his place, that's all.
True.
I made a
Where
joke.
Chubby sits, 12 people could sit comfortably.
Hi, Chubby. If you're watching this. All right, we got our uncommons once again. And for our uncommon, we got another Tooth Collector. Tenacity.
Well, I mean, he really needs those teeth.
Yeah,
so they have to employ multiple of them.
He really does. We also got Howlpack Resurgence. And Mythic, number 1 for me on pack number 2. Olivia, Mobilized for War. 1 colorless, 1 black, and 1 red. So, Legendary Creature Vampire Knight flying. It's a 3/3. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may discard a card. If you do, put a +1/1 counter on that creature. It gains haste until the end of turn, and it becomes a vampire in addition to its other types. 3/3 for 3 mana. Yeah,
flying.
Pretty.
Discarding a card isn't a downside in this set because of Madness, so it's a pretty decent card.
Pretty solid. And for our flip, we got Pios Evangel. Yes, I said Evangel. I don't know why, but that is what it is. Yes. Flip card turns into Wayward Disciple. Doesn't really look the part, in my opinion, but he's still a disciple.
The angels went insane in the membrane, so...
Gotcha. I don't know anything about this set. So, and we got a foil Senseless Rage.
Is that pretty senseless of a card?
Well, I'm not complaining about Senseless Rage.
I mean, true. It is pretty fun to go into a blind Senseless Rage.
So I believe in total, with Atkst and I, we have opened a total of 4 mythics now.
Yee.
Pretty solid. See if I can keep up that trend now, shall we?
Yes.
All right.
Every other pack. That's how statistics work, because we've already devised the pattern.
I don't think we have, personally, but whatever. For uncommons, we got Dance with Devils.
That one also makes devils. It's fancy.
I don't mind the art on it. It looks a little awkward, but... Call of the Bloodline. Erdwall Illuminator. And we also got Markov Dread Knight as our rare. Flying. Pay 2 colorless black, discard card. Put 2 +1/1 counters on Markov Dread Knight.
Fancy.
5. Yeah, it's fancy.
It's okay.
Flip card, Hinterland Logger. Now that is a strong chick, because those logs cannot be...
No, you just can't see the whole tree's actually there.
Oh,
She just picked the whole tree up.
Oh, well, that's even more impressive. And she flips into Timber Shredder.
See, that's what she does. At night, she tears the trees down with her claws, and then during the day, she picks them up with her big, massive, strong arms.
Because dogs like their sticks.
Yes. Or she's just mastered the control of the werewolf, too. Rather than eat people, fetch sticks. Or trees, in this case.
I could see it. Alright, what are we going to have for our first uncommon here? We have... Dissension in the Ranks, which sounds very, very familiar to me for some reason. Creeping Dread.
Also sounds familiar.
Pack Guardian. And for our rare, we got Second Harvest Instance. For each token you control, put a token onto the battlefield. That's a copy of that permanent. For 2 colorless and 2 greens.
So if you have a token deck?
Not actually opposed to that card. I quite like it. A little on the expensive side, but you can abuse it.
When we cube draft, you end up with white-green tokens every time.
I wouldn't say every time. Sometimes,
like 90% of the time.
Sometimes it's artifact in blue.
Yeah, sometimes you just get all the Tinker cards.
Yep.
Those are your 2 archetypes.
And for our flip, we have Gustav Arsonist flips into Gustav.
So we got 3 Arsonists now. So we're only 2 away from a 5-alarm fire.
It took me a second there. Was good. Were you holding that one in, or did you just think
I
about
mentioned it last time on the second one.
All right. So I heard a rumor you can get 3 mythics in one of these packs.
You could get a mythic foil, a mythic flip card, and a mythic rare.
Oh.
Like the rare slot is a mythic, foil slot is a mythic, and the extras flip card is a mythic.
Well, starting again, we got Dance with Devils, Cult of the Waxing Moon, Indulgent Aristocrat, and for a rare, we got Tamio's Journal. I do like Tamio the Planeswalker. Legendary artifact at the beginning of your upkeep, Investigate, which is put a colorless clue artifact token onto the battlefield with pay 2 colorless, sacrifice this artifact, draw a card. You can tap it to sacrifice 3 clues, search your library for a card, and put that card into your hand, then shuffle your library.
So worst, it's every 3 turns. It's a tutor, but you know.
But you know.
That's the worst case. It's pretty decent.
And for our flip card, we got an uninvited Geist. I was about to read guest.
That's because it's a pun.
I got that. In fact, the picture even depicted something similar, which was awesome, actually. It's almost like they planned it like that.
Almost.
And it flips into Unimpeded Trespasser, which, again...
He gets in and then you just can't get rid of him. Like, you gotta swat him out. But he's incorporeal, so there's nothing he can do. He's gotta burn the whole house down.
Oh.
Good thing we have a few arsonists to be able to do that.
Indeed. So, once again, going through the commons. And we get Pick the Brain, again with the creepy 3-headed guys at the top. Another Cult of the Waxing Moon. A Stone Quarry. And a Fortified Village as our rare. Right on.
Fortified Village is, when it enters battlefield, you can reveal a plains or a forest from your hand, and if you do, it enters the battlefield untapped.
Thank you for that explanation, because I completely forgot about it.
I noticed.
I mean, you can kind of see what it does.
Luckily, I know what the lands do, because they're all the same, so.
Because you and Chubby are crazy for Magic.
Stupid.
Or just crazy. I don't know. I know you're just crazy, but I don't know about Chubby. Anyways, for our flip card, we got Hermit of the Natternals. And he flips into the Lone Wolf of the Natternals.
So he doesn't leave home, in other words. He just becomes big and angry.
Yeah, that also sounds familiar. Oh, I'm feeling a mythic in the next 2 packs. Either that or I'm just spouting nonsense. I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Hopefully.
No, not next time.
Nah.
Let's do this unboxing in one take, shall we? Anyways, for our uncommons, we got Manic Scribe, Briarbridge Patrol, Inner Struggle, and for our rare, we got Game Trail. As Game Trail enters the battlefield, you may reveal a mountain or forest card from your hand. If you don't, Game Trail enters the battlefield tapped. Add red or green to your mana pool. And for our flip, we got some Missionaries. And it flips into the Lunarch Inquisitors. Lunarch Inquisitors.
No one expects the Lunarch Inquisition.
You know what? Up until this point, I don't think anyone has ever expected them. Everyone's all about that Spanish Inquisition.
Yep. Everyone always expects it now because no one expects it.
All right. Anyways, we got Broken Concentration, just like what's happened to me. Spiteful Motives. Bound by Moonsilver. And we've got Burn from Within. Pay X, 1 red. Burn from Within deals X damage to target creature or player. If a creature is dealt damage this way, it loses indestructible until end of turn. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead.
It's the ultimate, just get out of here. Indestructible, dead.
And for our flip card, we got Aberrant Researcher, which flips into
excellent flavor, not a very playable card.
the Perfective Form. Which
the first side is Delver Secret's transformation.
That doesn't
and
look
then
like Cell.
Further transformations.
That doesn't look like Cell at all. I thought Cell had the
he doesn't
perfect
have
form.
any Saiyan blood, that's why.
Ah, fair enough.
He's got more insects
And
and werewolves and angels.
And we've also got a rare flip here.
Sweet.
Elusive Tormentor. Maybe
That one looks familiar.
Maybe that's what I was feeling up earlier. And so, yes, thank you.
It's the same card, is what I'm saying.
Yes. But I'm going through it anyways because I
You
can't.
can show the art off, though. That's what I wanted you to do.
Yeah, true. It might be a little easier to, see when it's not so foily. Maybe.
It's a classic vampire turns into mist and just does whatever it wants.
Classy. At least it doesn't glitter through the night or in the sunlight.
Maybe it condenses, though. You don't know.
True. I'm not going to argue that because true. Alright, and for our first uncommon, we have Pour Over the Pages. We've also got a Groundskeeper. We don't pay him very well. Don't know why he stays. We have a Golsteed.
Which is a zombie horse. That's the most important bit.
I was skipping over that fact because I'm sick of your horses. And speaking of being sick of horses, we also got a Drog School Cavalry.
Ghost horse!
Yes, we have Ghost Horse. And it's 5 mana, 2 white, pretty expensive, 4/4 flying. But whenever another spirit enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 2 life. You can also pay 3 and a white to put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield.
That would also gain you 2 life.
Which would also net you 2 life. We've also got an uncommon Duskwatch Recruiter for our flip, which turns into a Crown Horde Howler.
Werewolves.
A lot of howlers.
Apparently. But I think it's always a full moon on Innistrad, so they probably go insane like every day.
I'm going to pretend I know exactly what you're talking about here.
And the moon's also made of pure silver.
Eh?
Yeah, it's pretty fancy. I don't know how you end up with a giant rock that's pure silver, but they did.
It's quite impressive, honestly. I'd try and sell it. I'd try and claim it and sell it.
You'd have to build a rocket first to get up there, but yeah, you could just kind of throw it at Earth, and what doesn't burn up, you can sell.
Yeah. We've got Invasive
ties?
Surgery for our first uncommon in this pack, followed by Nairi's...
Nahiri. Actually, I don't know. I don't know how I
You know what? I
it's
believe...
the planeswalker that's being all angry that I opened.
You know what? I believe it is Nahiri, and I'm going to go with Nahiri because I like it. And we also got Grafmole. And I honestly thought it was going to be a mythic, but it's Engulf the Shore. It's 3 colorless, 1 blue. It's an instant, and you return to their owner's hands all creatures with toughness less than or equal to the number of islands you control. That seems
insane. In a mono blue deck, that's bounced everything at 4 toughness at instant speed. So they like go to attack, and you're like, nah.
That's a nice board wipe.
Or like the end of the turn, like if they're holding cards and they got 3 creatures, then you put them in your hand and they have to discard 3. It'd be a pain.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty decent card, but...
It is.
Anyways, for our flip card, we got Village Messenger. And
It's got to warn the villagers.
It's got to warn the villagers into the Moonrise Intruder.
Which is a werewolf. So he's it's like the...
He's not only the boy who called wolf.
It's the boy who cries wolf, but he's actually the wolf too.
Don't know why he would try and get himself killed.
So by pretending to be the boy, he runs in and cries wolf, and then he transforms into a wolf and eats them.
Just like Warwick. So...
You went so long without a wow or lol joke.
It hasn't been that long.
It's like half your packs.
I guess. But continuing on, we've got Manic Scribe once again. Doppelgeist.
Doppelgeist.
Yay.
That means we have 3 now.
Booyah! We got the ongoing investigation, the ever ongoing investigation, and for our rare, we've got Invocation of Saint Traft. So it's a 1 colorless, 1 white, 1 blue. It's an enchant creature, and the enchanted creature has, whenever this creature attacks, put a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. Exile that token at the end of combat.
So it's like Geist of Saint Traft, the card from the previous Innistrad set, but without the hexproof and without the body. So you kind of got to provide it. Might be decent in Modern Boggles. I don't know. As like a 1 or 2 of.
I think you could make it work, honestly. Obviously, I'm not quite as familiar with Magic as you and Chubby, but I'm sure you guys can make it work.
Probably.
And for our flip, we've got Autumnal Gloom. Gloom. Blah, 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 blah. Emphasis on the blah, 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 blah. And it flips into the Ancient of the Equinox. Find Equinox.
It's a tree that just gets sick of your shit and decides that it's going to come punch you. That's what it is.
That is what it looks like on the art.
I mean, I guess the best way to use the Invocation of Saint Traft is just put it on Saint Traft, because then he has 2 angels with him. And he can take on anything.
All right. Going through the commons again. Just like probably 60 to 70% of the league player base. Quit shaking your head at me. I'm just getting back into it, okay? And for our first uncommon, we got Reaper of the Flight Moon Silver. Followed by Rise from the Tides. And followed by Spiteful Motives. And for our mythic, I'm calling it now. It's not going to be a mythic.
Probably not.
It is Damn.
It's Keyword Soup the creature.
It's Audric, Lunarch Marshall.
No, it's not Audric. It's George Clooney. Look at the art.
Oh, man. Yeah, now that... Hold on. Oh, man, I had to look at that closer, but you kind of... That's pretty close, man.
It really is.
And it's a legendary creature, as he is, and a human soldier, as he probably is. And at the beginning of each combat, creatures you control gain first strike until end of turn if a creature you control has first strike. The same is true for flying, death touch, double strike, haste, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, menace, reach, skulk, trample, and... What?
I told you, it's Keyword Soup the card. So basically, if a creature has an ability, when you declare attacks, now all your creatures get the ability. He's the communism. He's basically communism in form. Share everything.
I'd say so. You know what? This is a mythic in my books. Right here.
It does a lot of things. And it's nice that it's better than the previous one that with Keyword Soup, because it has more keywords, and it costs 3 colorless and a white, not 2 colorless and 2 white, and works immediately.
Yeah, you know what? In my book, this is a mythic. I think I won that one. And for our flip card, we got a kindly old stranger. Seems like such a nice stranger. And she becomes a demon-possessed witch.
To eat something.
Because you can't trust other people anymore.
Like she eats a kid when she transforms. Just
That...
like the gingerbread.
Oh, well, that...
The witch that lived in the gingerbread house.
That's just cruel. And we have a foil, and it's Voldaren Duelist. Nothing overly fancy. Haste, 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, target creature can't block this turn. Dece.
Just gets in for beats.
Pretty much. But it's foil, so it's
How
fancy.
many packs you got left, Frosty?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Are you going to get a mythic in those?
In one of them, for sure, yes.
Okay. You're not going to go all out and say there's 2?
If you want me to go I'm going to go ahead and say there's going to be 3 in one of these packs. If you want me to go all out. But for the time being, calling it right now, one mythic in one of these packs.
Okay.
I mean, the other one I considered mythic because, I mean, it does a lot, man. It does a lot. So, for uncommons, keep getting ahead of myself here, but I think that's fine. We got Runaway Carriage.
Looks like it's got horses on it.
It most certainly, yeah, it does. Spirit horses. We got a Forsaken Foundry, and Pale Rider of Trostad.
It's like Slenderman riding a horse, because he's got no face.
It's more like Jack Skellington. Maybe you're right with Slenderman actually. And for a rare, we've got Rattle Chains. Creature Spirit, 1 colorless, 1 blue. It's a 2/1 with flash and flying. And when it enters the battlefield, target spirit gains hexproof until the end of turn. You may cast spirit spells as though they had flash.
Fancy.
I like that part. I like the last little tidbit of it. And for our flip card, we've got another Convicted Killer, which turns into the Branded Howler. Angel. But following what we've been doing all boxing, going through the commons first. And once we get to the uncommons, like Haunted Cloak, we will go through them. And we've also got a Geist Blast. And we got a Griff's Boon, which looks just... That looks elegant.
It's a horse
That's the horse swan that you mentioned earlier. And that now that I can see the picture closer, that is an elegant horse swan.
Like you would ride that thing to battle.
Haswan.
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 Swarce.
A Swarce. And for a rare, darn, we've got Confirmed Suspicions. 3 colorless, 2 blue. It's an instant, but it's a counter target spell. Investigate 3 times.
So you get 3 clue tokens that you can pay 2 mana to crack for a draw card.
Thank you.
It's not really playable. 5 mana counter spell. What are you gonna hit?
It's a little pricey. And we've got another Hinterland Logger, which we have seen
You're down
previously.
4 cards. Where's your mythic?
Right here, Angel man. So I'm all about them angels.
I'd like if you actually got that angel. That'd be pretty sweet. She is a mythic.
She looks pretty badass too.
I mean, yeah. Blood-dyed hair and wings. Can't go wrong with that.
Almost like a... I kind of lost my train of thought here. But anyways, for uncommons, we got Pour Over the Pages, Paranoid Perish Blade, and a Magnifying Glass, which I'm sorry I have to read this. 3 colorless artifact, add... oh right, I forgot they added in the colorless symbol, a new colorless symbol. Forgot about that. You can pay 4 colorless and tap to investigate, and that's okay. Nothing overly special. Just, it seemed like a very silly
magnifying
card.
Glass.
It is a magnifying glass. And for a rare, we got Bygone Bishop. Creature, Spirit Cleric, 2 colorless, 1 white, 2/3, flying. Whenever you cast a creature spell with converted mana cost 3 or less, investigate. A lot of investigating being done.
Because they're trying to figure out why everyone went crazy.
And we've got Skin Invasion for our flip card. That's probably why. A lot of no dermatologists. And we got a Skin Shedder. Again, no dermatologist.
Yeah. Pretty decent card. It's like a 1 mana 3/4. You can't go wrong with that.
And for another rare, we have Westvale Abbey.
West Philadelphia, born and raised.
I was going to continue that, but then I thought, you know what? I, of all people, should not be one to rap. And so I'm going to try and avoid any more further embarrassment and go with, you can tap it to add a colorless to your mana pool, pay 5 colorless, tap, and pay 1 life to put a 1/1 and a black human
white and black human.
Yes, sorry, I said that as kind of as 2 separate things, but it's white and black human cleric creature token onto the battlefield. Or you can also pay 5 and tap to sacrifice 5 creatures, transform Westvale Abbey, then untap it. And it can also flip, apparently.
To the Fresh Prince.
Wow, you're not kidding. It's flying, lifelink, indestructible, and haste, and it's a 9/7.
You gotta say the name though.
It's Ormondal, Profane Prince.
Pretty fancy.
Dad.
I assume that's how the reference, because it's a prince and it's West Vale. It just makes sense.
It most certainly does make sense. Just like the Thresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Damn it. So this is your mythic. You betted it all on this.
I did, but I got 2 rares. I mean, that was the feeling that I was getting from that pack. Clearly. I mean, I knew there was something about that pack.
Clearly.
And for our first uncommon in this pack, we've got Compelling Deterrence, Open the Armory, Ulrich's Kindred, and for a rare, we've got Fevered Visions. Enchantments, at the beginning of each player's end step, that player draws a card. If the player is your opponent and has 4 or more cards in hand, Fevered Visions deals 2 damage to him or her. Not sure why I'm having so much trouble with reading.
Potentially in a Turbo Fog deck that might be slightly playable, because it prevents a win condition rather than slowly decking your opponent.
And it's 1 colorless, blue and red. And for our flip card, we've got an Accursed Witch, which, of course, flips into an Infectious Curse.
Fancy. See, because she gets targeted, it's cheaper to target her, and then when she dies, you enchant a player or your opponent, and then it's easier to target your opponent with spells. So she passes the curse on.
All right,
You didn't get the Avacyn, so I'm slightly disappointed. You got to get a mythic here.
All right, come on, pack. Do me proud. Do me proud. So, the Hope Against Hope. Do me proud. An Epitaph Golem. Highland Lake. And for our mythic, we've got, damn it, Silver Fur Partisan. Trample. Whenever a wolf or werewolf you control becomes the target of an instant or sorcery spell, put a 2/2 green wolf creature token onto the battlefield for 2 colorless and 1 green.
Kind of a werewolf lord?
Seems like it. So, I mean, it's a sub-class is wolf warrior. And we've got Breakneck Rider for our flip, which flips into a neck breaker.
You know, you gotta break those necks.
Clearly. And we've also got a Village Messenger, a foil, which turns into the Moonrise Intruder.
You know, he's got it once again, but this one's foil, like, so he's really shiny, so he attracts all the villagers to him.
It's true. People are probably like,
and then
who's that Pokemon?
And then he turns into a shiny werewolf that blinds them all with the reflections from the moon, so he doesn't have to struggle while he eats them all. That's why it's better.
Devilthorn Fox, Catalog, Commons, yada yada. Everyone will see the commons. Runaway Carriage.
Once again, more doobie horses.
Indeed. With an Inner Struggle. I'm sure we can all relate to that.
You claimed you had a mythic in this pack.
In one of the packs.
In one of the packs,
not
but this is the last pack.
That is true. We've also got a Silver Stake, and we've got a mythic Sigarda, Huron's Grace for 3 colorless, 1 green, 1 white, legendary creature angel. It's a 4/5 with flying. You and humans you control have hexproof. You can pay 2 colorless to exile a card from your graveyard, put a 1/1 white human soldier creature token onto the battlefield. And
you nailed it.
Once again, it's a mythic. And I was kind of hoping for another mythic.
Well, it could be behind this one.
That's true.
Because you got the normal flip.
Again, I was hoping for 3 mythics, though.
That's true.
But I'll settle with the 1 for now. We've also got a Solitary Hunter for our flip, and because I don't want to reveal the next card, not even to myself, we're just not going to look. Flip it, and it flips onto one of the pack. And it's a foil. And it is a common Apothecary Geist. I mean, we've got an Apothecary, so...
That's true. You can medicate your wounds for not getting the mythic in the foil slot. You did get the mythic. You said there was 1 mythic in those 4 packs. And you were correct. So you got that.
Seriously, though, these guys, They don't need an apothecary. They need a dermatologist.
It's true. We did way better on this box than we did on our Modern Masters 2 box. God, that was a horrible box.
That was a pretty horrible box.
We had to stay to prison break for Chubby because we didn't even come close.
I think one of the better cards, if I remember correctly, was like a foil Noble Hierarch.
Yeah.
And that's something I think I opened too, and I was just like, ouch.
So anyway, that was our Shadows over Innistrad box, and we'll see you next week with more Magic. Bye!
Bye!